For the vast majority of attorneys, the title partner is very important. Is it about compensation that you want it? You want to make more money to be an equity partner, or you just want to be a partner? Because you can structure it where they can make as much as if they had equity, but you retain decision making, you retain 100% of the equity. I talk to a lot of attorneys that run firms, and you would be super surprised with how many of them have partners that aren't equity partners. That's by far more common than you see partner. It's more likely than not that they don't have equity in the firm. Hello and welcome to the Sterling Family Law Show. I'm Jeff Hughes. I'm your co-host along with Tyler Dolph, co-host, and we're back with Tom Harton again, watching him build his firm from scratch. And we are talking about the month of March 2026. Excited to share what happened. I saw the numbers this morning and my jaw hit the ground. It was awesome. So Tom, tell us what's going on.
Hello, Jeff. Hello, Tyler. Thanks for having me back. Yeah, March 2026 was a great month. It was simultaneously my first, in terms of top line revenue, my first $40,000 month and my first $50,000 month. So that was cool to hit both. I was excited when I hit 40, and then towards the end of the month, I was like, oh my God, we're going to hit 50. So came up pretty much just at 52,000 new clients signed, which is awesome. 12 hires. So, we always get a couple like small things sprinkled in, prepare an uncontested divorce packet, $2,000. And those are, in terms of profitability, those actually are very profitable cases because, right, I'm not going to take anything that's lower than a $2,000 fee. But really that takes like 3 hours to do. So in terms of, hourly payment, and it actually is a pretty good thing to take. If I could get 20 of those a month, I'd be a pretty happy man, but they don't come along that often. So yeah, top line revenue, 51,950. So we'll call it 52,000. Expenses, I've separated my expenses, employee costs, and Google ads. So expenses, between my two offices, my marketing company, and then various miscellaneous expenses, which are like LexisNexis and all the AI stuff that I'm subscribed to and not fully using yet.
Yeah.
And
I got a couple of those.
primarily office space and marketing expenses. And then employee costs, 12,000 a month. Again, I expect that will stay about the same. And Google ads, I spent it was just under 2,000. It was like 1927, something like that. So just rounded it up to 2,000 for the month, which is very low. And I had very different experiences with the ads in March and April, which we could talk about. And then, total expenses about 23.5. So profit just shy of 30,000, about 28,500. So
fantastic.
My most profitable month by at least 10,000, probably even closer to 15.
Tom, give us your gut reaction to that. Like, how is that landing on you and your family after taking this deep dive?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I don't want to get too caught up in it because
you didn't buy a Corvette or a Rolex or anything.
Well, it's no. It is. It's March, probably the busiest month of the year for divorces, either February or March, and just, it seemed like a lot of things were all kind of coming together at once. I had a few consults in January and February that were just kind of stringing along. And then I think within a week, I had like 4 or 5 of those clients that did consults in January, February that just called and were like, how do I sign the retainer? And I remember there was one day where like 3 of those people signed at once, people that did consults in like January. So that was just awesome. I remember just counting like every day. I was like, wow, we made that much more. And kind of continued into early April. Not that things have tapered off a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see what the next month brings. I expect April to be similar, maybe a little bit lower, but I'd say at least in the 45, 50 range. And then I don't know, because at the end of April's been a little bit slower. So I don't know if that's just it's a couple weeks, so I don't want to draw too much data from it, but who knows if it's, the season's starting to slow down. But, my Google ads has been, so this is my question for today regarding Google ads. So do you guys know when you run LSAs, you can turn something on called message leads. Do you guys use those?
We do. Yeah.
Do you know? You do. Okay. So here's been my experience with message leads, and the marketing company that I'm working with was pretty spot on. They kind of warned me about it. When you turn on message leads, you rank higher. And I've tested this. I've run the same budget. I've run, not a crazy high budget, right? $2,000 a month budget. If I have message leads turned on, they rank me number 3 every time, right? There's two big spenders in my area. Pretty much everyone else has message leads turned off. So they will prioritize people that have message leads turned on. So that's the plus side of it. The bottom side of it is the message leads tend to be junk. I think I'm like 1 for 10 in message leads. They are cheaper, so it's not like I wasted a fortune. But it is that's kind of my conundrum, is turning on message leads lets you rank higher, and you'll get more. This way, you will get more calls too, because you're ranked higher, right? But you're also going to get more junk leads. And I don't know how much you've played around with the Google LSAs. People can now click on. You can message up to 4 firms at once. So there's a button like message up to 4 firms, right? So people probably click me and the 2 other top people they see and send that message out. And I've had just completely random inquiries. I've had people reach out. I respond like immediately within 30 seconds later, and then they say nothing else. So, it's definitely lower intent people than someone who's going to call is at least putting in some type of effort to, select the firm that they want and, waste 10, 15 minutes of their time talking to me on the phone, compared to a message lead that's just going to blast it out and then say like, nah, I'm not going to follow up. So I don't know. That's been my experience. I probably need a few months more data to draw any serious conclusions, but it's been, message leads. If I run that Google ad budget, I've even tested turning it up higher to like 5,000 a month with message leads turned off. And I'm on average probably ranking like 5th or 6th. Whereas with a lower budget, like half the budget, but with message leads turned on, I rank like 3.
Wow.
So
you said you think you've converted 1 out of 10 of those leads?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the total cost to get that 1 conversion?
I want to say the average cost per lead for message leads is probably somewhere around like $225, $250.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's high. And then the phone calls, they're like twice that. I would say my average cost per lead is probably in the 400 range for LSAs. It's a competitive market, but I've had, at least in March, I haven't analyzed data yet. I had, probably closer to like a 50% close rate. So that's good. It's very good. If I could duplicate that, I'd run a very high budget.
So if you spend $2,500 to get that 1 conversion, that's probably not going to be worth it, because I don't think your lifetime value. Yeah.
But then if I have that off, then I'm not getting the phone call leads either. Not that I'm not getting them, right? So in the whole, let's say in a 2-week period where I had them off, and I had my budget set to like $5,000 a month. So in theory, I should be getting, 12 to 15 leads out of that. I got maybe like 3 or 4 just because I was ranking so low. And I think I converted like, 2 out of those 3 or 4 from the phone calls.
Do you have a target cost per conversion?
I don't yet. I have like a target as of now. I'm trying to target a minimum of $40K a month in new retainers signed. So I'm kind of like seeing where I'm at halfway through the month, and if I need to turn my ads on, then I do it.
Yeah, I think as a rule of thumb, you shouldn't be anywhere north of 15% of your total revenue. I think that's at least that's as high as you want to go.
15%. So what's in terms of my budget?
So if for your ad spend, so if you do a $10,000 in revenue, you shouldn't spend more than $1,500 to acquire that 10 grand.
Yeah, okay, so I'm probably about that, right? I mean, if I'm looking at 5,000, I'm probably closer to, at least for March, I was closer to, well, way less than that actually, probably closer to 4%.
Yeah, that's you want to spend as much money as you can at 4%, right?
Yeah, right.
How much can you possibly spend?
Right. So if there was a way to rank as number 3 and get only phone call leads, I would crank that up, because it's helping me target a different market. Expand. Right. Most of my leads are very local, so it's helping me expand more into Suffolk County. But yeah, those message leads. And again, maybe it's a small sample size, right? It's 10 leads. Maybe I give it another month or two. I'm not burning through a fortune, right? We're talking about 2,000.
Right. So. That's certainly not enough to make decisions on at all.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like, I would say of those 10 message leads, I think 7 of them didn't respond beyond their initial inquiry.
Okay.
So they were really bad leads.
Yeah. So when I say 50% at your size law firm, that's going to still feel painful, but you should be able to make your numbers work at 15%.
Yeah, and
you don't have a lot of margin, but
yeah. We're constrained by it. It's my associate and half of me, right? Because I'm still balancing other stuff. So right now we have 65, 70 active cases, which is good. So I don't, in my mind, I don't need to really blast out too many ads right now. But if that number, right, if we close 10 cases next month, then yeah, I'll need to do it and just eat whatever it is, right? It's going to be a game of averages over the long term, right? So if I spend $2,000 in March and another $2,000 in April, maybe in May I need to spend $10,000 to bring in more cases.
Hey, family law firm leaders, my partner Tony Carls just released his book where he lays bare our precise blueprint for growing Sterling lawyers from 0 to 17 million. This is the blueprint that we still use daily, and Tony explains it in very simple terms. The truth is, this is not simple to do. Success requires and demands hard work, but if you have the patience and the work ethic to do it, your family law firm will succeed.
Have you explored LSA with messages at a higher budget?
With messages at a higher budget? Why would I do that?
So you said you did no messages at a higher budget and got some data. Then you did messages at a lower budget, got some data. I wonder, so messages is a new feature. Google is incentivizing you to use it, which is why you're ranking higher, because they want the data too, to know if it's working or not. So I'm just theorizing that if we have margin and you have the capacity to deal with the 1 out of every 10 leads being a good one, what would it look like? Just that's a third scenario we haven't explored.
Yeah, I guess I'm afraid if I with message leads and crank up my budget, I'm going to be just getting a whole bunch of message leads. But yeah, it's certainly try it. I think my next thought was the only remaining fourth scenario, which is to go for an even higher budget with message leads turned off and see where that gets me. I mean, because at $5K a month, they're not filling my budget. I know $5K a week I have it at, and they're not filling that. So I don't know. Maybe they'll rank me higher. So all just playing around with the algorithm.
Yeah, I think I go back to Jeff's point. Use the data to make your decisions.
Yeah. So I think I'll try that next, and then maybe I should try a couple weeks with a higher budget.
How are you feeling with your answer rate right now?
For what do you mean?
For your leads coming in, for your what?
Oh, I am
feeling good about getting to them.
Yeah.
I know last month you were kind of overwhelmed a little bit with the volume. So
yeah, I mean, so I did fix my answering service to start booking consults directly. So that was the big problem we talked about last month, where my answering service, and that was my fault. I just never set it up properly. They basically were picking up the phone, so Google wasn't dinging me for missing calls. But all they were basically doing was like taking down basic information and saying he'll call you back. At which point, a lot of people are just calling another firm. So they're now booking. If I don't answer, they're booking a consult for me, which has been pretty good. I've had a good show up rate. Actually, today I had someone not show up, but I think since I turned that on, that was the first one that happened.
And you track your show rates? Somewhat.
I don't, but it's rare that someone doesn't show.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be it's over 95%, probably more like 98%, something like that.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
I mean, again, I know I don't want to harp on this. We talked about it, but it's free. I offer free consults, right? So for someone to call and say, I'm looking for, I might get a divorce or I need help with a child custody case. Do you offer free consults? We say yes. No, they're likely going to show up.
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe again,
Yeah.
small everything I'm saying.
Not what I've experienced. Yeah, we actually
Yeah.
charge up front for the consult before they can even get it scheduled. They got to pay for it.
I know, and that's definitely a long-term goal. But right now is just to bring in as much business
It's
as
working.
I can.
Yeah, it's working for you right now. So don't change it. Yeah, just
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not right now.
Stick with it.
Yeah, but I'm doing the kind of another thing I'm having an issue with is people call. I'm the one that does the consult because I'm just trying to have my associate bill as many hours as possible. She's my revenue machine. And then when I go to transfer the case over to her, I get kind of like I called the firm. I thought you would be working on my case. So that's something I'm working on as well. Just being, it's all about just being more honest up front and telling, making sure I'm telling people how awesome she is, because she is.
Yeah. The key there, Tom, it's not the handoff. We rarely ever lose cases on a handoff, almost never. Like it only happens a few times a year at most. The key is the receiver does something quickly, like a quick phone call, a quick message, something happens right away. If you let a few days go by, then the client starts to feel like neglected and they move on. So if it can be nothing else but an email right away and a schedule phone calls on the calendar, that saves so much. Handoffs are not a problem after that.
Yeah, no, I get that. And it really hasn't been that big. I haven't lost anyone over it. I've had a couple people be like, uncertain. But then once she shows up at the fourth court appearance, they see that she's a great attorney. And, it's not like there are plenty of firms around here doing the same thing that I am. But rather than putting, a ninth year associate, which I'm doing on the case, they're putting like a first or second year associate on the case. That's a different issue.
It's hard to say she's better than me because she's more experienced.
But it is kind of the case.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard for those words to come out though. So I'm a little surprised to hear you got 65 to 70 active files. So that's first, congratulations. That's great. My next question is, as you think planning ahead, hiring another associate, what's that number from an active caseload do you think you'll have to be at?
I think it would have to, I don't know. In my mind, it's like 100. Of those like 65, 70, I don't know. I guess I need to go take a look and see how far along a lot of them are. A lot of them might be closer to wrapping up. But again, we had a good March, obviously. So those 12 hires those are all newer clients. And it's up to her. I check in with her all the time. I see her, she works out of the other office, but I go there at least once a week. I'll see her tomorrow. And I'm always checking in with her. How's your workload? Too busy? Not busy enough? Just right. And she seems to say, right now things are just right. So
perfect. Well, you've got a terrific first attorney in the door. So well done.
Yeah. I don't know. Another issue that not an issue, something that I haven't really figured out yet is how to pay a commission structure. So how do you guys, she brings in a case, how do you guys do that?
So like a referral fee, like if she,
for her, right?
Case in,
yeah.
Well, broadly speaking, what we do is we pay a certain percentage of collections depending on the position. So senior associates get paid less than partners, partners less than senior partners, and so forth. Okay, so that's the first thing.
You talked about this recently, actually. I listened to it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then on top of that, if they bring in a case we even allow previous clients as long as they're after a year, I think, because we don't want it to be like the same case. But usually it's coming back on something that's related to the first case. But if it's after a year, that tells us, the signal is our attorney did a great job, that client's coming back, they're trusting us and so forth. So we count that as a referral. And again, that's another percentage. And don't quote me on this. This is on the website, J. Sterling Hughes. You can go look up our whole comp plan. But I want to say it's like 8% for a senior associate, 10 for a partner, and 12 for a senior partner. Those are the percentages that they get of that. So if they're at 35% as a senior partner on a case, or that's their collections baseline, and maybe 33, but it's right in there, they get an additional 12 on top of that for bringing the file back or in the door from their networking. So we want to reward, obviously, good work and networking as well.
Right.
That's how we do it.
She's got a great network. I don't know if I've said this before, but they are the bar association where she is in Suffolk County. She's very very close. Like, she's very well known. So she brings me to these events, and I like going, not to say that she forced me to go, but because she, I think when she started at my firm, people are like, "Oh, where are you working?" And she's like, "Oh, I started at Harton Family Law." And they're like, "Who?" She's like, "Oh, like, you don't know Tom Harton?" They're like, "Nope." Like, no. So she's this well-known attorney who's working for someone that nobody knows who they are. But I'm starting to get out there, and they're fun.
Well, those types of attorneys, you just pay them because it's so worth it. You want them to be so hard to leave for financial reasons.
I know.
You want them to be just stay forever. It's worth it. It just gives weight to your firm. It's you find someone like that.
I hope she doesn't listen to this. I hope she doesn't listen to this, but I would be screwed if she left. So, so yeah, I know. I'm paying her as much as I can, and I think what was important for her, which wasn't really a possibility at her old firm, was partnership. And I still don't know how that works, right? Because there's different levels of partnership, and I've thought about it. Does someone want the title of partner with a pay raise? Like, yeah, keep performing. I'll give you that next year. That's nothing to me. Does someone want to be an equity partner? Right. That's obviously a way different conversation.
Mm-hmm. Well, quite often, honestly, an equity partner, non-equity partner is not much difference in compensation if you do it correctly. It doesn't make much of a difference. That's what I've experienced.
Yeah, I guess. But I think in my mind, I couldn't, right? Equity partners generally, I don't know, I come from the big law world, right? An equity partner they get votes, they get decision-making, they, weigh-ins on what's happening at the firm. I think part of the reason I wanted my own firm and I don't think I could ever give up decision-making for my firm. I don't know how yours works if you have the final say on everything, but at least for now, like, I like, especially given that I'm very like tech driven, and I don't think she is. It's just not that's not disparaging at all. It's just not how she is, right? She's been practicing a while. All the tech is new. She's just used to doing things the way she is, and she's amazing at it. But I don't want to have to run a decision like, should we get this technology? Like, I just want to do it.
Yeah. Well, so let me elaborate on what I just said a moment ago, Tom. For the vast majority of attorneys, the title partner is very important, okay? Because it gives them authority in the marketplace. It gives them authority to other attorneys. That's more important than the actual equity component. And if you dig a little deeper or dig deep with someone on this conversation, you're going to discover that, I think. And you're also, if you could dig a little deeper on the comp part, is it about compensation that you want to make more money to be an equity partner, or you just want to be a partner? Because you can structure it where they can make as much as if they had equity, but you retain decision making. You retain 100% of the equity. So I talk to a lot of attorneys that run firms, and you would be super surprised with how many of them have partners that aren't equity partners. That's by far more common than you see partner. It's more likely than not that they don't have equity in the firm.
Yeah, and I like that's a no brainer. I'd be more than happy to do that. So yeah, we're not there yet, but let's see. Again, I think April will be a little worse than March, but still a very good month. But we'll see how things go from there, and a lot of that will be, I think, how I figure out this Google Ads situation.
Well, March concludes the 18th month that we've been following your firm. So since September of 24, we started a little before that, but you went live that was your first full month. And we're 18 months into it, and you crossed your first $50,000 month. That's awesome. And by the way, all of Tom's numbers he gives us, and we post them on J. Sterling Hughes. So he is really transparent with putting this information out there. So if you're a new attorney wanting to start a practice, you want to see how it actually looks in the wild, listen to all of Tom's podcasts and then go look at his numbers, because he's been sharing these since day one. So congratulations, Tom. I looked at last April, by the way, or excuse me, last March. You did 10,000 top line, 3,400 bottom line. So
that was my worst. My worst. Oh no, it wasn't. But
no, it wasn't your worst. You had a January, February was worse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just you're doing so well. So I'm super excited for you to continue to see you build it.
Yeah, thanks. Me too. For me, getting that second associate is going to be like a massive thing for me, because I think that allows me to pretty much step out and kind of spend some time doing patent work and then the rest like running my firm, and just have two people doing all the legal ops. So I'm not there yet, but I don't know what that number looks like. But I would say top line, probably I'd want to see like a consistent 65, 70.
Okay. Yeah.
I think.
Before you hire your second associate?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Why?
That's good. Oh, that's really good. I don't know if I'd have the discipline to wait that long, but
well, I don't have the funds to not wait that long. So I would, if I had this disposable income, I'd hire them tomorrow.
I think, Tom, what you're saying though is really important, that you're going to put lines in the sand and make decisions based on the data that you're bringing in. Like, okay, once I get 3 months in a row of XYZ, I'm going to start looking. And I know it's going to take 60 days to find that person or whatever it is. Having those milestones and benchmarks are important to growing a business sustainably.
And that's why the next 2 months I really want to spend dialing in my ads. Because if I know, right, as of right now, I don't know if I hire somebody whether I'll have the work. Right? If I get a Google ad conversion rate and cost per lead and everything like that, then it's just all right, how much am I going to have to spend in order for this to get this employee? Like that makes the decision a little bit easier. So figure it out.
All right, we'll see you back here in May to hear about April.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tom. Have a great day.